it's Jack and welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic 2021. You'll have to excuse my voice and my stuffed up nose. I've got a bit of a flu. Nothing serious, so don't worry about it. Okay, I've got to work this morning and there's these two beauties. This is a Plymouth Roadrunner. If you want to see what that's all about, check out my live stream that I did a couple of days ago. Yeah, it's on. I'll put it into the description below. I think that was quite interesting, that video. Anyway, we've got something far more interesting this morning. We have another story order. This is story order number 13. Now, if you cast your mind back to story number 8, where our friend Jake had borrowed his father's car, and he mashed it all up and we had to repair it before his dad got back from his business trip. Well, Jake's father, let's call him Dave, shall we? Dave, Jake's father, has bought in Jake's car and asked me to do a little bit of work on it. Story order number 13. Did I say 12 before? It's story order number 13. And as you can see here, he's saying he got back from his business trip and you won't guess what was waiting for him. His beautiful car, and he realised there was something different because we did so much work on it. It was driving so much better. That he figured out, his son's obviously done something to it. His son, owned up and said, you know what, Dad, I borrowed your car and it all got mashed up and I got it repaired for you. So he's so impressed by that he wants us to do some work on it. So that's what we're going to do. We've got 3 pages of parts to discover. We've got quite a few bits and pieces actually. This is probably one of the most difficult. I say most difficult. Up until this point, orders have been pretty straightforward. There's been a couple. This one, I believe, is going to cause a few problems. I've read what needs to be done, and straight off to the bat, I just want to prepare you for this before you go into actually starting this order, before you want to be able to complete it, basically. So he wants it pimping, he wants a bit more spark in it, and he wants a bit more horsepower, and that's important. As you can see here, we've got to replace or repair body parts, which is fine. You could, if you don't have any workshop facilities, you could always just, buy these new parts. Obviously change the oil, fine, we're going to do that anyway. And spray it factory colour. So to complete the order, you're going to need a spray booth. Okay, so straight off the bat, you're going to need that spray booth to complete this order. In addition, you're going to also need the test path to be able to correctly align the wheels. Okay, do you remember in one of the last videos I had to buy this test path just so I could align the wheels and complete the order? And we've got to do this, which is one of the first orders, I believe, where we actually increase the tuning of the car by 10 to 15%. A lot of people get really confused with this and not quite sure how to do it. I have done a full video on how the performance parts work, or at least the percentage increase works on the base HP of the vehicle. Okay, so go and watch that. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll put it in the video somewhere. Go and watch that. If you want to follow up on Jake's first, introduction to the garage where he bought in his dad's car, that's story order number 8, which I'll also link in the description. Anyway, and I'm sorry I'm going to be sniffing. If that bothers you, then just turn the sound off. But I wanted to get this video out. Anyway, what we're looking at here is standard car. It's an EMDEN Jaeger, which is basically a Golf, Volkswagen Golf. GTI, I'm not quite sure. And we're looking at the base horsepower here of 99 horsepower, and he wants that increasing to between 10 and 15%. Now we're going to get to that, and what I'll do is I'll put the time in of when we actually start to do the performance fixes on this car, which I'll leave until middle of the video or somewhere like that. But I'll put a link in the time, so if you're just interested in that performance bit, you can just click on that and you can skip the rest of this video, because I think the rest of it is just going to be standard stuff what we've done before. But once we've got it in, obviously we're going to start our normal troubleshooting tasks to find out what's wrong with it. I'm quite fortunate now because I have pretty much all of the tools to diagnose problems with the car as quickly as possible. If you haven't got those tools, then obviously you can use the old-fashioned methods of taking bits off and doing the manual inspection. But first off the bat, what am I doing? I want to go here. I'm going to run the compression test. Well, at least the engine's turning over. That's good, which means it's probably got, a bottom end in it. I'm not expecting. He wants it pimping a little bit, so I'm not expecting there to be too much wrong with the engine. Nothing. Well, what's the minimum fix on it? Minimum fix is. Let's just have a quick look. It's over here. It's 79%. So nothing was added there on doing the compression test. So now we're just going to do a quick check on the OBD scanner. I got it right for once. I didn't say ODB. I said OBD. Looks like they've changed that slightly. Did it always used to come up with a percentage before? I'm not sure it did. Okay, so we can see that we've got 4 spark plugs, which will need replacing. Nothing else as far as I'm aware. Maybe ignition coil, I'm not quite sure. Let's just see what populated in the list. Just the spark plugs we found there. Okay, that's not too bad. And then we're going to do a quick multimeter. And again, it's so much easier once you've got these tools, and the tools are not that expensive. You know, so go over to your toolbox if you haven't already got some of these tools, and just go and see what prices they are. You know, if I was to do these in order of which ones I would pick, you know, to buy first, if you're a little low on money. Nothing found there either. Just digress a little bit here. So what I would actually do is I would go for forget the battery charger, you get that at some point, yes of course you do. But in terms of diagnostic tools, get the compression test, 300, definitely, no question there. So I'd get the compression tester first, and then I'd get the multimeter. Yeah, so compression test, multimeter, or we could get multimeter first, doesn't it? I mean, for a cost of 450 in total, it's not that much cash. Then I would get the OBD scanner. You can kind of skip this one a little bit, I would have thought. This isn't that important. It's easy to take the tyres off and check those, but it's 150 again. Get that as the fourth one, and fifth one then the fuel pressure test, because that's just carbs and the fuel pump and fuel filter. Anyway, what we're going to run now, we didn't find anything with that one. When I say that one, with the last test we did. Oh, you're teasing me this morning, goodness me. So let's just, we're going to check the tyres because we can, because we have the tool and it's really quick. And you never know what you're going to find. Well, there you go, you see, that's 4 tyres. Okay, well that's interesting. All 4 new tyres. But then if he wants it pimping, you know, we can then pick some decent tyres to put on the car. That's excellent. It's really good. So I'm assuming we're going to have to look at the rims as well. I mean, if they want, if he wants his tyres replaced, but we'll get to the rims, by default, because if we have to replace the tyres, and obviously we need to do all the other stuff as well, as in, take them down and then rebuild them back up again. The last one we're going to do now is actually going to be the, what have I done? I've done everything. Oh, the fuel pressure test. See if there's anything wrong with the fuel delivery system. No, 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 no. Fuel filter. So everything else, still 2 pages, 2.5 pages nearly of stuff not discovered. So what we can do now, we can just do a manual inspection, can't we? So we're just going to inspect the engine basically. And if you imagine the engine inspection is, there we go, you see, serpentine belt, is the mechanic walking around the vehicle, pulling and pushing parts and seeing if they jiggle around a bit, just to see what can move and what can't, the general condition, visual inspection we're talking about. So that's straight off the bat, that's found some problems. We found the tyres, of course we did. Now we've got the belt tensioner and the other 2 belts here. Well, these 2 belts here as well. Spark plugs we found already, and still some parts not discovered. Okay, well, we've done a little bit there. Found quite a few bits and pieces, but then let's just quickly check the suspension. Again, imagine this is the mechanic walking around the car and, pulling and pushing stuff, and just like they do in your MOT. Yeah, so what we're going to do is, oh, no, 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 no. Get it right, we want to do this manual inspection. And there's 9 parts on the suspension on this side, and obviously on the other 3 sides. Doesn't reveal some things here, certainly not shock absorbers and things, because you can only get those on the test track or test path, I believe. Oh yeah, there we go, you see, front drive axle's a bit dodgy. Front drive shaft. Yeah, okay, well that's all those done. Let's have a quick look on this side. And as you know, when you find some of the things on the car, as you go further into the vehicle, and start taking stuff off, you often find other bits and pieces that are wrong. Okay, so we found that one as well. Engine we've done. Gearbox, you can't really do much, you can't really find much wrong with that, to be fair, on the manual inspection. Let's just do the back end real quick. And yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but what other options do you have, really? I mean, of course we can take it on the test track and put it on the test path as well. But sometimes it's just nice to do old school. We've already found quite a few bits and pieces. Exhaust generally, don't really need replacing, do they? Not in this game, I mean. Of course they need replacing in real life. Engines all done. Oh, it's just this side now. Probably going to be a little lengthy this video because there's a lot to get through. So, you know, I'll try and put the time stamps in so you can skip past the stuff you're not interested in. Okay, well, oops. Let's crack on then. Let's see what we've actually got. What do we actually find? Still a lot not discovered. But it did say the serpentine belt and belt tensioners, and that I think is where I'm just going to start real quick. But before what am I going to have to take off? I'm just thinking, do I need to drain some of the fluids? I mean, I don't even know if it's got oil in it, but I'm going to drain. I'm not sure if I have to take off a water pump or something. So what I will do real quick is just drain off the coolant, because that's one that always catches me out. Okay, that's good. So then let's have a quick look, shall we? See what the damage is. And actually, I can take this radiator out now. If I take the fan off first, I think. Is there a fan on this one? Yes, there is. And I'm only taking this out because it just gives me a little bit more room, and it also gives me something else to forget to put back on the vehicle later. Okay, so what are we looking at here? There's that, and there's... Okay, so let's take this off. We've already identified that, I think, as being dodgy. Electricals didn't bring up the alternator, that's for sure, so we don't need to remove that. Serpentine belt was already found. Okay, I don't think we need to take this crankshaft pulley off, to be fair, but anyway, it's off now. Oh, we do, because if I want to get the timing cover off. And I'm assuming, because here's the belt tensioner, I was just assuming that there's something else dodgy inside here. The belt tensioner was done. Timing belt, I'm not sure if we already found that, 32%. So there's quite a lot of stuff on the outside of the engine. Yeah, okay, timing belt. And often you find when there's an issue with the timing belt. And they also mentioned the spark plugs were dodgy. So let's just have a quick look under here if we can see anything. Often when you've got timing belt issues, there's often something wrong with the camshaft, or at least the cam gear. That looks a little suspect to me. I hope we don't. I mean, we did run the OBD, didn't we? And it didn't find any. It didn't find any issues, did it, with the? No, with the pistons or anything, which is nice. Which means hopefully we don't have to drop the bottom end off it. Okay, so it's gone quite smoothly. I think this is going to be a good order. I think this one. But that cam looks dodgy. It looks less than 79%, that's for sure. I need to just take this off. So right now we're just diagnosing. We're just trying to find where all the problems are. Okay, camshaft was dodgy. Okay. I think we have to take this off to get to the plugs, I think. I'm going to take this off because that exhaust down there looks a little... Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just the lighting. And obviously one thing it's not found is brakes. We've done no brake tests or anything like that on it, so potentially... Let's just take these off here. And I believe there's a ignition coil here. I mean, the cylinder head doesn't look dodgy. The spark plugs, yes, we've already identified. They are dodgy. So yeah, a little not be that easy, I don't think, this one. Taking on the throttle's brand new. Fuel rail's brand new. Intake manifold. Well, not brand new, but you know what I mean. front drive shaft also looks like it's goosed. Well, let's work. I'm assuming. I don't know. It didn't come up with anything in the bottom end with the. I think it's the OBD scanner that would have picked those up. Let's just see what else we found on the way there. Not a great deal. I'll tell you what. Let's leave that off there for now. I don't want to rebuild it all up, and if I can't find the other parts when I go through the running gear and everything, then there's obviously maybe something is we did miss lower down. I don't think so. Obviously we're going to. Oh, I bet it. I know what the two. It'll be. Yeah. Too true to form. It's going to be. Brakes actually look okay on this side anyway. Yeah, the pads will be one. That's for sure. Yeah, 36%. We have to take this drive shaft out anyway because it's dodgy. So I'm just going to quickly check because this is not always identified. The wheel hub bearing. No, that's actually okay. And all that kind of looks okay. But I bet the rim's been added. Yeah, rim's been added. Okay, so we've just got the rim as well. And what else did we get on there? I think, do we have the front drive shaft before? I don't know. But you know what? We shall get there. We shall get there. Okay. Okay. And once again, this drive shaft needs to come out. Oh, sorry, axle I should say needs to come out anyway. We're gonna check the wheel hub bearing. Is that dodgy? No, that's still good as well. Yep. Bushings? Maybe not. But certainly that. The drive shaft there. And because we're getting that far down, I mean, we could take it on the test track, couldn't we? That could only be moved from the engine bay. I'm just wondering, that looks a little... that looks a little worn. But it's actually okay. Oh, I found another one, I think the oil filter. We're not taking that off right now because obviously it's going to drop oil everywhere. So let's just put that back in. I don't know what percentage it was that came off, but it certainly wasn't as bad as that. You know what, for the price of it, I don't want any comeback. We'll just put 100% one back in. Okay, so then I think what we're going to do is take off the rear wheels, because they need the new tyres on these anyway. Okay, these actually look okay. And they would have come up on the test track, the test pass straight away, I'm sure. Okay, well this looks pretty new. So what I'm going to do, first off the bat, I'm going to got the wheels off now. I'm going to get some new, I'm going to repair the rims, if I can. I don't know how many rims need to be repaired actually, we'll find out when we just take this off. I just wanted to have a look at these brakes real quick. And I know, I could have found out these on the, like I said, on the test track, but I chose to do it this way, so boo-hoo. Anyway, retro, so all rims are done, need to be replaced. Okay, so we're getting there, we're getting through. Oh, there's not actually that much, there's not that many on page 3. So we've actually only got 2 more parts to discover. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, I thought there was a full page on number 3. Okay, so let's get these repaired. Oh, sorry, these taken apart on the tyres. So let's split these down. And it's these rim retro 10s. And then what that'll be give us the ability to do, if possible, is to repair them. So let me get these off. Let's see if we can repair them. I'll just time-lapse this real quick, okay? Okay, we're back in the room. I've just repaired what I could. I've repaired 3 of the rims out of 4. Got new tyres. Went with the same tyres apart from I just went with 185s instead of 175s, make them a bit more beefy. I don't know if you saw on the time lapse I destroyed the camshaft. But you know what? That's normal for me, isn't it? I don't know if I've got. Oh, I've got brake pads. That's good. These are all the same. These can go on back as they were. That's fine. And I don't believe he had brand new plungers in there. Oh, sorry, caliper cylinders in there. We'll soon find out. So we're going to put these tyres back on real quick, and we've still got another, I think, 2 or 3 items that we haven't yet discovered, which we also need to figure out. So let me just quickly time lapse, sorry, putting these tyres back on. Okay, you may have noticed I screwed up there. I put new pads on the back and they didn't need new pads on the back. It was only the front two that needed new pads, so I should have put the old ones back on there. But you know what? I'm not going to go and take them off now. I can't be bothered. So that's my bad. So I'm going to make a little bit less money on this, but what I will do is put the new ones on here. So yeah, Dave, Jake's dad, or sorry, Jake is getting some new pads all around, and yeah, my bad, or my mistake as I should say. It's just the way it is. But this I will not put new ones on, and this one should be good because they didn't need to be replaced. We have one drive shaft I think which was replaced, or sorry, fixed. Did I manage to fix that one? I did indeed. Duh, 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 duh. And then, oh, I know what we need in there. We need of course the wheel hub bearing in there. Again, that wasn't something on the list, so the old one can go back in. I think I've only got. Oh no, I didn't actually fix any of these. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you can see what needs to be done. These drive shafts need to go in. I need to put brakes on here and the wheel back on here and the wheel bearing I think back in there. I'll time lapse that real quick and then we'll be back in the room. Okay, so that's all done. One thing I did notice was the oil filter. I think that's going to be on the list as well. If you noticed, it was when we looked under the car before, it looked extremely dodgy. So first things first, let's just drain the oil, and then we should be able to take that oil filter off. And I think that should then populate the last, not the last one, second to last, part not discovered here, and part not discovered. I'm really sure that it's that oil filter is the one that's missing, or at least one of the ones that is missing. Yeah, 29%, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've got one of these in stock. Nope, I don't. So let's just get one of these real quick. Let's get that, and let's just empty this list out. It's got some old shite in there from before. And let's put this one on. Okay, don't think there's anything else that we discovered under the vehicle, I don't think. Uh, duh, 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 duh. So we've still got one part missing. Uh, Tensioner, camshaft, yeah, fuel filter, fine. Belt, sparks, timing, and this one. Hmm. Nothing in the fuses. Oh, I wonder if it's our old. I wonder if it's our old friend. Mr. Air Filter. Looks a little dodgy. Oh, 32%. Is that everything in the list now? Well, that was good. Yeah, everything. Okay, so let's get this air filter. Need that cam because jack the other one up. Spark plugs we can come to. What else do we have? Oh, not that one. I want this one, please. Oh no, I didn't do that at all, did I? So what else was on the butcher's bill? Uh, yeah, okay. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward what needs to be done, I think. I don't think there's anything that's really standing out that's going to be that difficult to do in, in terms of the rest of the normal repairs for the vehicle. So let me crack on and get everything back ship shape. Like I said, there's nothing here that's new. We've covered most, in fact, all of this before. Yeah, so let me just rebuild this back. I won't even time lapse it. I'll just come back into the room as soon as I've got it sorted out. Okay, we're back in the room, and as you can see, I've done most of the jobs on this now. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Everything's been replaced. I've not put the spark plugs in just yet, and there's a reason for that, but I'll come to that shortly. But everything else is done. I put all the fluids are done. Obviously not sprayed it. I haven't done this wheel alignment and haven't done the tuning yet because we're going to come to that now. Right front door, front right door, front right fender and hood. Pretty straightforward. If you've not got the ability to repair these, don't worry, you can just buy new ones. I think you get reimbursed for it. I should be able to repair these. Just took the wrong ones off. That was good. He was just about to get everything new. I would have repaired these and then realised I'd done the wrong side. So, yeah, come on, wake up, Jack. It's time for, in fact, time for coffee. I think time for your cornflakes, as they say. Okay, so it's hood, which you've just taken off, Jack. Come on, get it together. And then obviously we want this fender off, and we want this door. Fender. Fender. It's American, isn't it? So it's this one that we want to really repair, and we don't want to mess it up. So that was good, and then we wanted to get this one done as well. At least I'm not damaging the good bits. What did I just do then? What did I just repair? I just repaired the wrong... Oh, bollocks. Oh, here we go. It's not even Monday. Someone's got a case of the Mondays. Yes, obviously. I need to go and buy a new one. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Should we make sure we get the right one? Well, that's 275 credits, isn't it? But I should get the money back for that, because if you can't repair it, you'd have to buy a new one, wouldn't you? Simple as. I think we have to give it a clean as well, although I'm not sure it'll spray up properly. I could be wrong. I did get this fender, didn't I? I did, and I got this too. Okay, so it's looking nice, isn't it now? Looking very nice. So that's also this complete. Done the oil, sprayed the factory colour, no, not yet, and then other tasks. Perform wheel alignment. Okay, now the reason why I didn't put the spark plugs back in is that we need to get to the performance on this vehicle, and that could be one of the things we wanted to increase performance on was the spark plugs. But that's why I left them out initially. But you know what? In saying that, I'm going to shove them back in, because I don't think that's what I'm going to replace. And I actually don't have enough spark plugs anyway, so let's just go and get those spark plugs real quick and put those in, and then we can do the performance on it and increase that. I need 3, but I'm just going to get 6 or 8. Gives me some spare for the next job, doesn't it? Okay, this is straightforward. So we have to increase the performance of this by 10 to 15%. So it gives you a 5% window. If you're under that, it will not let you complete it, and if you're over that, it will not let you complete it. So just be aware. Don't just go willy-nilly and just whack all the performance parts on that you think are okay. You've got to do this in a methodical manner so you get the right hit. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got everything covered here. That's all green, green, green. Good. No practical colour. Other tasks is all that we've got left. Okay, so if you haven't done a wheel alignment before, you do need the test path, and if you haven't done it before, I'll just go through it real quick. And if you don't have that test path, you're not going to be able to complete this job. It is, I think I've done this in so many videos now, it's so straightforward. All we're doing is coming over to this machine here, and you see the alignment on the wheels is all out of skew, so we just basically plus minus, and this will help it drive straight and true, which is good, obviously. I think they call it tracking, don't they? Wheel alignment, tracking, same sort of thing. I don't know why I can't press the right buttons this morning, but anyway. And as soon as that's they're all at 0, what we should then see is the tasks have been completed on here. So now we should be looking at wheel alignment of the tasks is done. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're now going to do the performance on the car. We do know a few things about it. We do know that it's currently, the factory power is 99 horsepower. Now, that's important, 99 horsepower. Let's just run this dyno, and I'll explain a couple of the pieces of witchcraft. So, factory power, 99, 158 newtons of torque. Okay, so measured power is 8%, and it's telling you here there is no tuning. Okay, no tuning. Oh, don't jump around. So now we've got more information. Now we've run it on the dyno. We can now see that our measured power is 91. So you might argue, well, then obviously if I need to get 10 to 15%, the minimum, I guess on 99, call it 100 horsepower, would be 110%. Yeah? So we'd need to get parts at an extra 10% horsepower on top of 99. But I would argue that because they bought it in at 91, that is actually now your new base horsepower. Now, I understand that when it comes in at factory HP, yes, fine, if it's a brand new car, but we should be basing it on 91. So we should be able to get with around about 104 horsepower on this or something like that. 102, 101 maybe. Yep. So what are we going to go for then? Well, let's have a quick look, shall we? What's the obvious things we can do? Obviously, cheap and cheerful will be the air filter, giving us 1%. But we have a couple of things on here that we could look at potentially. We could look at the throttle, and we could look at the cable, the spark plugs, or even the ignition coil. So if we were to add that and add the throttle, okay, and let's just go into the parts, the tune-up, and let's just bring this up and let's have a quick look. Ignition coil, that would give us 4.5% for 220 credits. That's quite reasonable. 4.5%. The throttle would give us 3%, which should give us 7.5%. So we need to find 3% somewhere else to add to that. So we can do it incrementally, or we could just work it all out and, you know, guesstimate and just say, okay, because there is a little bit of guesstimate work in here, and I'll show you that. So if let's just buy this throttle here. Okay, so we've got that. And now we're going to buy the throttle, the ignition. Then we want the ignition coil. And we're going to get that. These are nice and easy to replace. You don't actually need... Oh, sorry, we don't actually, if I'm not mistaken... Oh, this needs to come off when you do that. I don't know why, but it does. Oh, because the leads will be trapped underneath it. So if we take this off, and then this off, the ignition coil, nice easy fix. You don't even need to take it back to the workshop. You can do it in situ here. I mean, we could have put a new camshaft in. We could have done all sorts of things. So we're going to put that back on. We're going to put this back on. And again, once you know this, it's a lot easier to do. Let's take off the throttle. So by all reckonings, we should get 7.5%. Okay. All looking good. So let's start the dyno up. Remember, if it was taking factory-based power, we have to look at something else, and I'll show you that shortly. Moment of truth. There you go, bang on the money. 7.5%. So, even though we're still behind the factory power, okay? Factory horsepower, we're only at 98. But for this job, it's saying you only need to be between 10 and 15. So, it's basing it on the power that it was measured at when it came in. Okay, if that makes sense. So you don't need to aim for 110, 111%, 110 or 111 based on the base horsepower, factory horsepower. So if we now look at this here, it tells us the tuning here. This is not available until you run it on the dyno. Okay, I don't believe you can complete this mission without the dyno. Somebody can correct me in comments, but I don't think you can. And if you can, then I'd be completely surprised. So we need another 2.5%. We'd like a little bit more. So we need to figure out a way to get that up a little bit more. We could just put a new camshaft in. I'm sure that would be great. But we've also got some opportunity as well that we could. Air filter would give us another 1%, which would be nice. But we've also got an exhaust manifold, which we could also do. So this exhaust manifold, let's just take a quick look and see what would that give us if there's actually one available. There is 1.5%. We're not quite there, are we? We're not quite there. So we need to find some other bits and pieces that we can put on that would give us that extra oomph. Now, if that is, like I said, sorry, if that is 1.5, we could probably get away with just the air filter, which gives us an extra %. Or what about the intake manifold? Is there one intake manifold for this one? There is indeed, 1.25. Or we could even go with saying, okay, well that's not, we're getting there, we can get there. But maybe we could also put in the fuel rail. 3%. That's more like it. That's what we're after. Let's put the fuel rail in because it's so easy just to whip this off. Buy that fuel rail. I mean, price right now, we're going to get paid, I guess, for whatever parts we spend on it. I could be wrong. Maybe there's a set limit for it, but I don't know. I think as long as we stay within that boundary of the 10.5 to 15%, we should be good. So I can put this back on because I don't believe we need that. And we should be just on the money now. I think we needed 2.5% extra. So just by putting those 3 parts on, and you can mix and match. Maybe there was a cheaper way to do it. You can work out, all the different parts together, what percentage is this and that, and yeah. But this is what I did, and let's see what we get. See, we didn't have to get to the 110, we got to 101, and that is absolutely fine. There's the tick, tuning, 10.5%. So that is now done. It should be ticked off, the checklist should be done. Let's just double check. Other tasks, be done. All the thing we need to do now is spray it in a wonderful colour, factory colour. Let's just move that to the spray booth. So there's actually this order, although it takes some time, you also need the 3 major elements. The paint shop to do the spraying, obviously. You need the dyno to do the performance, and you also need the test track to do the wheel alignment. Factory colour was white. It did say factory colour, didn't it? I'm pretty sure it did. Oh, oh, you know what? Yes, but I forgot to wash it. So there she is, in all her glory. Let's move that outside. Well, I hope Jake's going to be pleased with what his dad's done for him. I put on these bigger wheels. I think they look actually pretty good. 185s instead of 175s. It's a nice looking car, isn't it, eh? Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, we've got everything done. So let's, should we just get rid of it? I think we should. So let me finish this order and get the money in the bank. 10,000. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. Well, that is the end of this episode. I know it went on for quite some time, but we did do quite a lot to the car, and it did utilise many of the different aspects of Car Mechanic 2021 in all its glory. Once again, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Story order 13. So I believe we're on 14 next. If you want to follow me on Twitch, then there's a link somewhere in my channel somewhere. I can put it also in this description. I do live streaming on Twitch. I do live streaming on YouTube. You can always see when I'm available, when I'm actually going to be online. Well, if you like this kind of thing, drop us a like, drop us a sub if you want. You know, it's a tough world out there, but once again, I do appreciate you stopping by and listening. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon. Jack is out.